My cousin insisted I cater her entire wedding for free, saying, "It'll be great exposure for your business." When I declined, she rolled her eyes. "Fine. I'll find someone better." So I skipped the wedding. The next morning, I woke up to dozens of missed calls. The food was a disaster. "We need you now." I run a small catering business. It's nothing huge, just a local operation, but I've built a solid reputation over the years. I take pride in my work, and I'm not one to cut corners just to save a few bucks. Food is my livelihood. It's more than just a job to me, it's my passion, my art, my way of bringing people together during their most important moments. I've been doing this for 8 years now, ever since I graduated from culinary school with dreams of opening my own restaurant. The catering business wasn't my original plan, but it grew organically when friends started asking me to cook for their parties. Word spread, and before I knew it, I had a steady stream of clients who trusted me with their celebrations. My kitchen is my sanctuary. It's a modest setup in a rented commercial space downtown, nothing fancy, but it's mine. The walls are lined with photos from hundreds of events I've catered, birthday parties, corporate lunches, anniversary celebrations, and yes, weddings. Each photo represents a memory, a moment when my food helped make someone's day special. I keep a small notebook where I write down comments from happy clients. "Your salmon was perfection. The cake brought tears to my eyes. You saved our event." These words mean everything to me. The business has its challenges, of course. The margins are tight, the hours are long, and there's always the stress of making sure everything goes perfectly. I've had my share of disasters, ovens breaking down on event day, suppliers delivering the wrong ingredients, staff calling in sick at the last minute. But I've learned to adapt, to have backup plans, to stay calm under pressure. That's what separates the professionals from the amateurs in this business. I remember one particularly challenging wedding where the bride changed her menu 3 times in the week leading up to the event. Each change meant recalculating costs, reordering ingredients, and adjusting our prep schedule. My staff thought I was crazy for accommodating her, but I knew how important this day was to her. The wedding went off without a hitch, and the bride sent me a handwritten thank you note that I still keep in my recipe folder. Building trust with clients is everything in this business. When someone hires me, they're not just buying food, they're buying peace of mind. They need to know that I'll show up on time, that the food will be delicious and beautifully presented, and that I'll handle any problems that arise without bothering them. That reputation took years to build, and I protect it fiercely. So when my cousin Megan called me up one day, gushing about her upcoming wedding, I was genuinely happy for her. Megan and I had always had a complicated relationship. She was the kind of person who lived for attention, who needed to be the center of every story. Growing up, family gatherings often revolved around whatever drama was happening in Megan's life. She was 3 years younger than me, and had always been the golden child in our extended family, beautiful, charming, and seemingly destined for greatness. After high school, Megan had bounced between different careers. She'd tried modeling, then real estate, then marketing, never quite finding her niche. She had a habit of talking big about her plans and opportunities, but follow-through was never her strong suit. Still, she was family, and when she told me about her engagement to her boyfriend Marcus, I was genuinely excited for her. Marcus seemed like a solid guy, quiet, steady, worked in accounting. He balanced out Megan's more dramatic tendencies, and they'd been together for 3 years. The engagement had been a long time coming, and I was happy that she'd found someone who could ground her. At first we chatted for a bit about the wedding plans, and then she dropped the bombshell. "I want you to cater the whole thing," she said excitedly. I smiled. "That's great, what's your budget? I can work with you too." I was already mentally calculating possibilities. Wedding catering was my specialty, and I'd learned to work with all kinds of budgets. For family, I'd be willing to keep my margins lower, maybe suggest some cost-effective menu options that would still impress the guests. I had several packages I could offer, from simple cocktail hour appetizers to full multi-course dinner service. "Oh," she interrupted. "I was hoping you'd do it for free. You know, as a wedding gift?" I nearly choked. The casualness with which she said it, as if she were asking me to bring a bottle of wine to a dinner party, completely floored me. She wanted me to cater a wedding of 150-plus guests for free. The sheer audacity of the request left me speechless for a moment. Now I love my family, but this was a massive request. A full-service catering job for a wedding that size would run thousands. I quickly did the math in my head. For 150 guests, we'd be looking at least $8,000 in food costs alone, not counting labor, equipment rental, service staff, and my own time. We'd need to prepare appetizers for the cocktail hour, a full dinner service with multiple courses, and probably a late-night snack. The prep work alone would take my entire team 3 days. I tried to be polite. "Megan, I'd love to help, but that's a lot of work. The ingredients alone would cost me a fortune, not to mention labor and time. I just can't do that for free." I could hear the disappointment in her voice, but I also detected something else, a sense of entitlement, as if she genuinely believed that family members should provide professional services for free. It reminded me of all the times growing up when Megan would expect special treatment, when she'd pout and manipulate until she got her way. She pouted. "But you're family, and this is my business," I said firmly. I'd learned over the years that I had to be clear about boundaries, especially with family. I'd made the mistake early in my career of doing free work for relatives, thinking it would lead to referrals and goodwill. Instead, it had led to more requests for free work and a devaluation of my services. The conversation grew increasingly tense. Megan tried several different approaches. She appealed to family loyalty, suggested that the exposure would be good for my business, even hinted that other family members would be disappointed if I didn't help out. But I held firm. I offered to give her a family discount, to help her find cost-effective menu options, to work with whatever budget she had. But free was off the table. She sighed dramatically. "Fine. I'll find someone better." The dismissive way she said it stung more than I expected. Someone better, as if my 8 years of experience, my culinary training, my track record of successful events meant nothing. As if I were some amateur who should be grateful for the opportunity. At that point, I shrugged it off. If she wanted to burn a bridge over free food, that was on her. I'd learned not to take family drama too personally, and I had plenty of paying clients to keep me busy. I didn't hear much about the wedding after that. The family grapevine was unusually quiet about Megan's wedding plans, which I found a bit odd. Usually, her events were the subject of endless discussion and speculation. My mom mentioned in passing that Megan had found another caterer who was just as good, and I didn't give it another thought. In the weeks leading up to the wedding, I threw myself into my work. I had 2 other weddings that month, plus a corporate event and a couple of birthday parties. The summer wedding season was in full swing, and I barely had time to think about Megan's situation. My team and I were working 12-hour days, but the clients were happy, and the business was thriving. Fast forward to the wedding day. I wasn't invited, probably because of the whole catering issue, but that was fine by me. I'd been to enough family weddings to know that they could be stressful affairs, full of old grievances and forced conversations. I spent the evening relaxing at home, enjoying a rare Saturday off. I ordered takeout from my favorite Thai place, opened a bottle of wine, and watched a movie. It was the first time in weeks that I'd had a completely free evening. Then at 7 a.m. the next morning, I woke up to dozens of missed calls. The insistent buzzing of my phone pulled me from a deep sleep, and I groggily reached for it, expecting maybe an emergency with one of my upcoming events. Instead, I saw a string of missed calls from Megan, her mom, even my own mother. The timestamp showed that started calling around 6 a.m. and hadn't stopped. Something was very wrong.